Hey everyone, welcome back with being Ermac. Today is going to be the official start of my playthrough of Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. Last week I started the playthrough as Ermac, and that was more of a testing video. I thought about continuing my playthrough as Ermac, but eventually I just kind of came down to the conclusion. Ermac is very fun to play as. He is my favorite Mortal Kombat character of all time, honestly. But unfortunately in this game he just doesn't have combos, and it would just make for very boring and rigid kind of gameplay. So I decided to go with the versus mode characters because they have combos, their own fatalities, something of which Ermac does not have. So we're gonna play as that guy right now, the guy gnawing on top of Johnny Cage's head. But last week, you know, like I said, this game pretty much takes place, it's a beat 'em up style 3D game, the best one that they've ever released in the history of, you know, beat 'em ups in my opinion. You know, if you want to, we can debate about it in the comments, but geez, I mean, this is just probably one of the most perfect Mortal Kombat games. It's not even a traditional fighting game. I think this game came out at the perfect time, really. Because this was around the era, you know, they were actually Midway at this time. You know, they were actually going full force with their 3D era. You know, even though it wasn't the most popular, I have a lot of respect for companies around this time because, you know, PlayStation 2 costs and everything like that. They were able to take a lot more risks. So Deadly Alliance was a new step in, you know, the series direction. Liu Kang died at that time, wasn't even in the game as playable character. Then Deception came out after it, and I mean, they pretty much all the heroes and characters they built up from the first game to like Deadly Alliance, they were all dead by Deception came out. You know, Sonya, Jax, Kung Lao, Liu Kang, you know, all those people, they pretty much were going full force, replacing them with a new generation, Shujinko, who didn't pan out, as well as, you know, bringing back a lot of the classic characters that were popular, but, you know, not main characters in the story and Deception, such as Ermac, Nightwolf, were some new protagonists. Raiden turned into Dark Raiden, so he was kind of like he was somewhat of an antagonist, a protagonist. He fought for good, but he was ruthless in his ways because he was corrupted. So, I mean, having this game come out, this was kind of when, you know, even though it's still only a few years past, well, actually about 10 years since MK3, so I believe it was 1993 Mortal Kombat 2 came out, either that or 92. I forget exactly, but this was well over 10 years after the release of Mortal Kombat 2, so I mean, this was the first game to kind of, you know, capitalize on nostalgia, really give us a good indication of, you know, a non-canon story of what happened following the events of the first Mortal Kombat tournament with MK2, and, you know, I think that Mortal Kombat 2 in particular, like, as far as lore-wise, you know, creativity-wise in the Mortal Kombat series, I mean, it was at its absolute peak. I mean, I think, you know, even if you like the story of the newer games, or maybe even the gameplay of the 3D era like me, which I know there's only a few of you out there, I think it's undeniable as a Mortal Kombat fan that the creativity of John Tobias with his character designs, you know, the arenas that they had. Yeah, I mean, it was just, there's no better Mortal Kombat game to base off of, you know, a side story or non-canon story or whatever than Mortal Kombat 2. I mean, you'd be silly to think otherwise. That said, Goro's Lair was from Mortal Kombat 1. But I guess in a weird way, you can technically say that we're still on this level of the Mortal Kombat 1 story. But I mean, even just something like they took all the tiny little details and secrets and Easter eggs and stage, you know, background elements, and they just added so much, you know, story and lore and cool stuff to it. Like, for example, even something as small as in back in the day when you seen those yellow eyes in the Goro's Lair, these are the people apparently that were just watching us fight the whole time. You know, something very small, but I think very cool. Because, I mean, they could have, if they want to, they probably, nowadays, they would just make something else up and all that other stuff. But, I mean, nowadays, you know, once again, I mean, the story is more popular than it is before, than ever has been. Maybe not with Mortal Kombat 1, but, you know, there is a lot of, it's very different from what it used to be back around this time and back during the golden era of Mortal Kombat and stuff like that. So, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of the modern story, but that said, you know, I understand a lot of people are, and if you are, that's fine, but I mean, I think you also have to acknowledge, I mean, the arenas that they come up with, and I think some of the new characters I think they have pretty interesting concepts. I don't think they're always able to expand on them as well as they could. But, yeah, I mean, you're just gonna hear me gushing about how great the older era MKs were with story and stuff like that. But yeah, the one thing I can't stand about the modern games is just the lack of creativity, in my opinion, of the arenas. Which I get it, you know, after a while, it gets kind of, you know, they've had 30 years of freaking Mortal Kombat. You know, you can't always come up with these winners like this, but it feels like they don't even really try anymore. Like, I remember MK10, the best arena was the Outworld Marketplace, and it just looks like some basic, you know, market or whatever that you could see in Earthrealm, theoretically, especially with the lighting and stuff like that. And the only reason it's the best stage is simply because you can throw that old lady at people. And I mean, it's a cool thing, but if that's the best stage they can really have in the game because of that simple feature, I mean, like, come on. You know your stages are kind of poop. I think they got a little bit more creative in Mortal Kombat 11, like that Wuxi temple with the traps. It doesn't make any sense, but, you know, neither does the Shaolin monks in this game going around killing people, so... or their, you know, traps we'll see later on as well at the Wuxi Academy. I think there was a stage of the return that came back, but I think probably my favorite part about Mortal Kombat 11, no joke, was just exploring Shang Tsung's island in the crypt. I wish they would have done something a little bit better with that, like, just give us like another conquest mode or something like that in Mortal Kombat 1, you know? So like I said, the best part is exploring the areas from like the early games and stuff like that, or, you know, if they came up with a new creative area, I think that would be pretty cool as well. But I think also Ed Boon has kind of gone on record. He hasn't really explicitly said it, but I think there's definitely been little hints in which he's essentially said, yeah, I'd love to do this, but the company that owns us, you know, Warner Brothers, essentially won't allow us because, you know, we have quotas to meet and all this and that. So, I mean, I think that's the reason why we're probably not going to get a Shaolin Monks 2, at least anytime soon. Which, I think the most interesting thing about it would be what story would it follow, it'd probably be just another take on Mortal Kombat Fire and Ice, the canceled version, that was going to be the sequel for this, which is really sad to hear. But, I don't know, it's kind of interesting, you know, what they could do with a modern game in that style. Because, I mean, this game is a lot of people, a lot of longtime MK fans' favorite game in the whole series. It's just that good with all the wars, the secrets. That's one of the biggest things I miss about the MK series, is they took a lot of pride in giving us secrets and hidden features and all this other stuff, and they still did that a little bit. Like, the last game I played was MK11, and they had some pretty good stuff in the crypt. But I think gameplay-wise, as far as, you know, like hidden characters that you get secret fights for and stuff like that, you know, funny little goofy messages that I miss from, like, the MK team. We don't really get that stuff too much anymore. And I think a big part of it is kind of a little bit of pettiness as well, because I think it seems like Ed Boon is just kind of like around this time he kind of got pissed off that people were able to find secrets so easily, especially with the internet. But what are you gonna do, you know? I like to look back on these eras and remember them fondly. Yeah, just teleported there. But I like to look back on them and remember them fondly and all that other good stuff. And, you know, I'm kind of someone that likes to leave things in the past a little bit. As far as, you know, opening new chapters and stuff like that. You know, I understand this isn't really... I'm only 25. And this isn't my era of MK. But this is the PS2 era. So I just like to enjoy my little era of Mortal Kombat and stuff like that, you know. Kind of like the N64 Rocky titles and stuff like that. You know, I still love to play those games to this day. It's not because of nostalgia, it's because I still have so much fun just playing these games way more than I would the modern games. Alright, our first fatality. I do have to wonder if like these characters were actually considered to be playable for the main story. Because I mean they have pretty much everything that they would need except for Multalities and Brutalities. Which I have a hack on currently that allows me to negate those things. So that way I can, you know, use the Multalities and Brutalities without having to exit out of the game and playing a large portion of it with, you know, like one of the main playable characters. Oh jeez. That's still funny. The Onis are quite the characters in this game. And they only really get this one brief level. Yeah, I actually have a lot of history with this game too. This is probably one of the few games to actually get a little nostalgic on you guys. This is probably one of the few games in which I kind of remember exactly how I got it and stuff like that. Like, not all the details. Like, I don't remember what year it was we got or how long it was before I officially was old enough to be able to play it competently and stuff. But I remember, I think it was GameStop or it was maybe at the time EB Games. We went there and to the store with my two older brothers and my at the time stepdad, and I remember seeing this game because I was just getting into the series because of Armageddon, because my older brother was into it and he was talking it up about how they had every character in the series and it was going to be the greatest Mortal Kombat game of all time. And I'm thinking, all right, well, this is, my brother said it is, so it's got to be the greatest. Even though I don't even know what the hell Mortal Kombat is at that time anyway. So yeah, we went to the EB Games or GameStop, I can't remember which. I think it was EB Games at the time. And I seen that this game was for Xbox and all that other stuff, and I was bummed because we didn't have an Xbox. But then my stepdad went to the counter because he was interested and he played games with us every now and then. And he, you know, got ourselves a PS2 copy and all this other stuff of it right then and there, and we all started playing it. And I mean, it was a blast instantly. I mean, I wasn't very good at it. I mean, when we got to Melina and Jade and Katana, the third level, the first bosses, really, I mean, it was my fault that we died like every single time. Jeez, I can't even hit him with these. He's like glitched out. He like slid up those skulls in the back somehow, and now he's not coming back down. That's weird. But he had to continue on with my story, so we did that. And then a few years later, you know, I did eventually get into it again when I was older and I had a little more understanding, and I officially played it with my stepdad. And I just remember every Saturday night, because he always worked at a factory and he had late nights, and every Saturday night he would come in around like 10 or 11 when he got home, and that was kind of like our designated night to play some games for an hour or two, and this was pretty much our main game. And eventually we got good enough to the point... Huh, that's weird. Yeah, I'm sure playing as Reptile causes some glitches. But anyway, eventually we got to the point where we, you know, slowly started to make our way through the game. We learned a bunch of different secrets. We got stuck at various points because we didn't look up anything on the internet. So we were stuck on like the living forest stage for a while because of having to feed them for the trees. I think we were stuck for about 2 weeks. And then we had like all the cool stuff, like, you know, finding out all the secrets and doing all the little challenges they have in this game and all that kind of stuff. And it's just some of the coolest memories of this game that I have was playing with him and stuff. And you know, we got to I think we only got to Shao Kahn one time. Jeez, something's wrong with the camera here. I'm gonna die if I'm not careful. But yeah, we got to Shao Kahn one time, and I mean, once again, it was me, I'm sure, in which, you know, my dumb kid ass just couldn't figure out how to you know, avoid Shao Kahn, you know, and he's pretty much like a character that's invulnerable and you gotta shoot projectiles at, but I was probably going up and trying to hit him and stuff like that, stupid stuff like that, which caused us to die. We never really got past Gintaro often enough, though. But, yeah, we weren't able to finish it, though, and eventually, you know, he split up with my mom, which, you know, stuff like that happens. Gosh, dang it. I might just kill myself. You know what? Okay, maybe I'll actually try one last time. If not, I'll have to restart this room. This is a weird glitch. I don't know what happened. But, yeah, so then that kind of stopped my playthrough for a while, and then eventually, in about like 2017 or something like that, me and my friend were able to start this game because he always wanted to play it. And I mean, even though we hung out outside of school and stuff like that, our moms were so protective that we never even had the chance really to hang out in each other's houses or play games or anything like that. So, you know, I finally was able to beat the game with somebody, with a partner in co-op. I think a few years after that, though, or before that, I was able to officially beat the game by myself, but doing it with a partner was kind of like completing a chapter in my life. That's pretty much my whole history with Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. You know, I've played it for so long. I beat it by myself, I beat it with friends, but that's going to be all for this video, so thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check out next week's episode as I continue with the Wuxi Academy with Reptile, and if you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe, but above all else, please remember to have a nice day.